Good afternoon, VV Nation. Happy Friday, everybody. We'll give everyone just a moment, make their way into the room here. Let me see this for just 1 second, Joey. Oh. I guess I closed out of it. Never mind. Alrighty. All right, everyone. The alert should be hitting in just a moment. Give everyone just a moment to make their way into the room here. Okay, there we go. I was like, interesting. No comments yet. Hi, Ryan. Go Team Android. Yes, Carol. I got my Android right here. The Google Pixel. I do love it. I do love my Google Pixel. All right, I see the alert just hit. So yep, there it goes. Just hit. I'll give it just everyone just a moment. You see the title there, U.S.-China Showdown. Now, I know I'm not a believer one day makes a trend, but the trend is changing. The trend is changing. That's what we're going to talk about today. I was just telling someone earlier, get defensive. Get defensive. Not saying that, in general, just get defensive right now. We're going to go into it. Let's see here. All right. See, everyone has made their way into the room. All right, perfect. All right, let's get started. If you could hear me, if you could see me, put a VV in the comments section. Let's get excited and let's get started. All right, we see right away. Look at what VectorVest is telling us. Somewhat bearish. 2 red lights as of now. This week was looking real good for everyone, right? And I was even telling myself yesterday, when it's too good to be true, sometimes it's too good to be true, right? China and the United States. Talked about it, since Wednesday. The rare earth. That it could be a much bigger problem. And the market realizing, all right? Especially with today's announcement. First thing I do when I get to the office, other than open up the VectorVest 7 software, see what's going on in the world, right? All the headlines. China. Chinese ports, right? The tit for tat game between China and the United States. And as of right now, there have been some updates where potentially we'll see what happens at the Trump Xi Jinping meeting. May have been canceled, right? So obviously the market's not going to like that. I see this, literally kind of, resurfacing the old tariff concerns, right? And I saw the headline as well. Trump's threatening massive tariffs. That was a headline. Massive tariffs. We'll see what this all comes down to, but I just want to make sure everyone stays on the right side of the market, right side of the trade, right? The confirmed call still up. The DEW, I was looking at it this morning. We can lose that DEW. I mean, if the market continues in this direction, we could lose it today. We already broke the 30-day weighted moving average when it comes to the VectorVest composite. We broke the ascending channel. Remember I was telling you about that ascending channel earlier this week? We broke it today. We opened up right at the bottom, right where we needed some buys, right where we needed that support. And with the news, no support. Clear break. I'm looking at another level right now, just below where we're at on the VectorVest composite. Finding a little buying pressure at this level. I really want it to hold here, but it's going to be around $76. Right now, VectorVest composite currently coming in around $76.21. Sorry, $76.13. So if it breaks 76, just be careful here. But again, primary wave is down, right? I also talked about the bear.
It looks like you started the wrong event here. Let's see. There's 88 people waiting in the other one. You want to move over there, or do you want to just stay here?
Well, we can go to the other one, but what do you mean by that? Do we need to stop this?
Stop it and start it on the right one.
Okay.
All right, just let them know. Let who's here know that we're going to move to the other one. We'll send the link.
Oh, you're talking about in the comment section?
Yeah.
Because they can't hear me or see me, right?
But they can hear you right now.
Oh, they can hear me. Okay, perfect. All right.
You're in, yeah.
Okay.
People that are here.
Perfect. All right. Joey's got to fix this in the background here. Is that the link they need to go to?
Yep.
All right. Click on that link, and that'll take you to the...
Like this wasn't the right one.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. There we go. Now we're getting it fixed.
Let me see.
But they could hear me the whole time?
Yeah, the few people that were there, but your alert went to the other one.
Gotcha.
All right, let me get this other one going.
All right, Joey's going to fix that in the background. We'll give it just a moment here. So in the other event, everyone's waiting still?
Yeah, they were here. 74 still here. All right, there you go.
All right, I think Joey fixed it finally. So should I pop out this chat? That's the new chat I should pop out?
Yep.
All right, let me take the mouse for 1 second. Pop this out.
All right, go ahead and do it.
All right, there we go. There we go. All right, now can everyone hear me and can everyone see me? All right, sorry about that. Again, trying to learn a little bit more about the streaming side of things myself. Clearly messed that up. Good thing I got Joey here. Clay's off today. But Joey holding it down, I guess the inner Glenn came out in me. I messed it up. Hitting the wrong buttons, right? But everyone could hear me. Everyone could hear me before Joey, or no?
Yeah, the people that were in the other event could hear you.
Okay.
You were on the wrong event.
Gotcha.
18 people that randomly joined there.
Gotcha.
The alert went to this event.
All right, now let's jump into the software here. You can see the sell on. You see the pressure, right? One day, not a trend. But I was talking about before, apparently in the wrong stream. The VectorVest composite. I was talking about an ascending channel on that earlier this week on the live stream. We broke it. On top of that, with the DEW, right? You see the confirmed call is still up. That's going to be our slowest moving market timing signal. It's really going to capture the big swings in the market, and that could potentially go to a down. We're not there yet. Who knows? But the DEW's got my attention right now. Last time I looked, the DPO was at 0.01. Actually, it just went negative. Negative 0.01 on the DPO. Price action below the 30-day weighted moving average. So news aside, put Trump and China and all the news aside and put today's price action aside, the trend is telling me something different, that the trend is potentially rolling over. We could potentially get a DEW down signal today. So what does that mean, Ryan? We get a DEW down signal, right? Well, I'm a swing trader. Alfredo, I will tell you right now, should I buy APLD? On the verge of getting a DEW down signal? No. For my swing traders, no. That's the signal I use for swing trading for sure. Don't ignore it. You know, I'd have to look at APLD, but unless that chart setup says, hey, this is an awesome trade, being on the verge of that DEW signal, no, I'm not buying anything right now. I want to be buying anything right now. Why? Because I'm cheap. I want things on a discount. And that's fine. You know, if Trump and Xi want to, tit for tat for the next couple weeks, whatever, guess what? I got VectorVest. Guess what? The MTI is going to let me know when the market really wants to find a good bottom and when the next blast off opportunities might present themselves. Yes, the DEW, right? That's up right now. But as I was looking at it in the VectorVest 7 software on the actual graph layout, which is the DEW layout, where we have the enhanced pro trader timing layout, just adds the MACD essentially. But that layout is telling me, hey, DEW's already lost that 30-day weighted moving average concept, right? Price has to stay above it, and it's been above it. We just broke that. I'm looking at it right now, clear break, right? Unless that market decides to rally and somehow the geopolitical tensions get better, who knows, with a tweet or, a headline can change things pretty quick. But right now, if things don't change, we got a break in that VectorVest composite ascending channel, right? And the DEW could potentially be a down by the end of the day. And it's not going to go to a down. You're not going to see it. It's going to stay up. At the end of the day, if the price action of VectorVest composite stays below that 30-day weighted moving average and the DPO, negative territory, that's it. DEW is down. Right now, it looks like we might be getting that situation. You can see the major indices here. I mean, look at the Dow Jones, down 1.2%, 500 points to the downside, right? Now, this all started with the rare earths, right? But talk about rare earths. I've showed you how to make so much money this year off of these geopolitical concerns. And what has it been? It's been defense. It's been semiconductors, mining. Pick some kind of mining company, right? That's what's been hot. And I don't think those trades are over yet. But yes, go with the market, right? I don't know where you bought a lot of these stocks, right? And every stock's going to be different. Every stock's going to react different, because when I was looking on the VectorVest 7 homepage, it's telling me the mining space was still hot, right? So we're going to take a look at some mining stocks today. But your more speculative plays could be getting whacked today, right? You can see the market getting a little defensive right now. And what I see with the VectorVest composite, what I see with the DEW potentially going to a down today, I'm going to take this news a little bit more serious, and what's going on today in the market a little bit more serious, right? If that DEW was still holding strong, and if we were still in that ascending channel, 500 points to the downside on the Dow, just another day, right? Not that big of a deal. But because these things are happening, that's why I'm paying a little bit more attention. I literally just got a text message earlier talk about buying stocks. I said, me personally, defensive, right? I told you guys, I'm looking for these cheap, low value or undervalued stocks under $10, under $5. And guess what? UAMY, I lost that opportunity. It bounced off the pivot, right? Some of these, and UAMY is probably not pulling back today, if I had to guess, based off of this news. It's probably going on. Maybe I should chase it. I don't know. We'll see. But there's other stocks like Data Vault, right? That rejection I'm looking at. Hey, guess what? I'll jump in on the next Data Vault opportunity. Just have the patience. Let the trades come to you. That's all I'm saying. Because right now, we're on the cusp of the beginning of a DEW down signal, right? Okay, so what? Next week, everyone sings Kumbaya in the world, and the market rallies again, right? Hey, that's fine. We can get back in the market. Not saying go out there and sell everything, but if certain stocks in your portfolio really causing you some troubles in the chart, whether it's a trend line, a 3A, whatever you're looking for, shares up 24%, UAMY now, right? Again, the rare earths. What is the problem? The problem is China's got all the rare earths in the U.S., from a national security standpoint. That's not good, right? So, yeah, these stocks, it's probably the space you want to be in. And when I was looking at the mining industry, it was the one space where the stocks were going up, except gold was mixed on the stocks. A lot on the downside, but mixed. Made over 30,000 on UAMY and UUU. Thank you, Ryan. Phyllis, that is awesome. That is why I am here, to help you guys make money. But right now, I'm less concerned about making more money and more concerned about protecting the money we've made this year, right? Now, BSR at 0.76. Is it? I'll take a look at the BSR, right? Because the primary wave has been down for a couple days. So next week, if the BSR is down and the market continues lower, we can confirm down call next week, right? So if you're more of a swing trader, I've been saying this for the last couple weeks now, and your whole goal was taking the swing off the the bottom from the tariff turmoil earlier this year. Think about it. You're a swing trader. Swing when you're supposed to swing, right? The swing is wrapping up. I'm just looking at the ascending channel here. And again, opportunities will present themselves when the MTI gets back down to that 0.6 level. Who knows when it'll happen, right? I'm not sure. What's the product you buy from this guy? What do you mean by that, Matt? What do you mean by that? If you're talking about our products, the VectorVest 7 product, it's been around. It was a newsletter way before I was around. And now we're software. Now we got apps and web apps and all that good stuff, right? Rare earth, but not rare opportunity. No, it's not. Think about it. Just think about it this way, right? We're decoupling what took decades to build, right? So these rare earth plays, they're probably about a year or two into a lot of these plays. But these opportunities aren't done. And there'll be other opportunities out there. There definitely, and we're going to look at some of those. But just looking at market timing right now, somewhat bearish. And I'm definitely on the page of somewhat bearish, right? What's the best software? Well, when it comes to financial and stock analysis, bud, it's VectorVest. There's no doubt about that. Trust me. And look at the color guard. The red light's coming in here. You could see there was some caution in the market prior to today. And another thing I was talking about, I even sent this over to the education guys to mention on the daily color guard report. But not only did we get the break in the ascending channel, which, you know, that's more on the VectorVest 7 side of things. We're not going to look at that here in the mobile app live stream. Careful, Oclo, the scammers play with it. We'll take a look at Oclo. I mean, Oclo has had some good days and its bad days. I'm not going to lie. It's in a hot space, though. We could take a look at it for sure. UEC going good today. But this is what I want to talk about. MTI, market timing indicator. It combines the price, the RT, the BSR, those three columns, right? It's a powerful indicator. It's giving me a divergence, right? You see price action. Let's see here. From October 3rd to October 8th, you could see it. Price action moving up, but MTI was moving low, right? Bearish divergence. You see it better in the market timing graph on VectorVest 7. But the bearish divergence with MTI leading into this break in this ascending channel, leading into this potential DEW down situation. I mean, the software just doing a great job, you know, giving you that insight, giving you that warning there. We talked about that, I think it was Wednesday, if I'm not mistaken, that bearish divergence. And look at the decline, 71%, right? The advances, I imagine you see it in your portfolio, but if I had to guess today, just, you know, using logic here, I bet a lot of those advances are in the mining space. Mining space. All right, let's get into it. Stock pick ideas here. Oh, there we go. All right, let's see what the hot stocks are. This is these hot stocks education puts out here. Look at this. Mining, defense, geopolitical concerns. METC, that's a rare earth one. If I'm not mistaken, is METC the coal ash? I forget. There's been a lot of stocks here. But look at the stocks that are down today. Well, gold, I said, is mixed. You can see that here. Gold is down. Gold and Silver Corp. A little mix there. Continue to scroll down. Planet Labs, EOS Energy, Mercury Systems, right? The further you get away from defense, the further you get away from rare earths, probably the more pain you're feeling today, if I just had to guess. And TSM, I'm curious what TSM, we're going to look at TSM real quick before we get too far. Taiwan Semi, because they're caught right in the crosshairs of China-U.S. relations. Let's see here. What is old TSM? 4% to the downside. I'm not surprised by that. I'm not surprised. And more news when it comes to China is not good for Taiwan Semi. That's the reason why Warren Buffett left his position. You know, he entered Taiwan Semi a while ago. Didn't last long. I'm surprised gold is not up more today. You know, I am too a little bit on the gold picture. A little bit on the gold. But I'm still going to be bullish on gold. And today could be, you know, a good buying opportunity. You'd have to look at gold itself, and, you know, if you're thinking more conservative, stick with the commodity. If you're thinking more, you know, aggressive, and if you're okay with volatility, you get more into the miners, right? Because silver better. You gotta look at the chart. I mean, I've said it over the last few weeks. Be diversified in your miners. You know, some gold, some silver, some Bitcoin. I don't care if you're mining, rare earths, right? Because, you know, the Bitcoin miners, guess what? Now they're just AI data center plays. Plus, you know, who knows what Bitcoin's going to do with these geopolitical tensions. But you see it just got to $126,000 new high with the government shutdown. So I'm not sleeping on Bitcoin either, or Ethereum, or, you know, the further you get away from those, the more volatility. You know, once you get into the like the Solanas or the XRPs or the Stellar or whatever, and then you can get further away, into like the Dogecoin or whatever, Pepcoin, whatever crazy coin. Fear now. Yes, ABB. I think fear is entering the market. And this rare earth thing, I've been saying it. I mean, it's the ace up China sleeve. It's their number one bargaining chip, and yeah, I'm not surprised they're using it, right? They'd be dumb not to. All right, but Taiwan Semi, I mean, just looking at this, I got the 20 on here. As long as price action stays above that 20, hey. And you see the buyers coming in on the dip already with that bottom wick on TSM. You know, buying a couple shares of TSM on the dip. I mean, who knows? It's still undervalued. TSM is a phenomenal stock. But with that DEW, if fear is not an investment strategy, no, it's not. But the fear leads me to opportunities, right? Because again, the MTI, the cycle of the MTI, right? MTI 0.6 comes up around 1.5. You know, it just cycles around. I'm looking for the next cycle, right? And honestly, what? It's October. So if the market pulls down, fiddles around for the next couple weeks, MTI getting low, that could be the perfect setup for a Santa rally. Maybe that's why I need to get prepared for that Santa rally. I want to go shopping. You know I've been itching to buy some stocks. I'm not going to do it today, though. But if that DEW goes down, look for the next DEW up. And hopefully that MTI be much lower. Buy when there's blood in the streets. Yes, Bill. But you got to know when to buy. Right, Bill? MTI, primary wave, blast off videos. If you haven't watched those videos, just Google or YouTube VectorVest bottom fishing. Those are the opportunities. I mean, those are the opportunities that can propel portfolios to much higher levels in a short period of time. Yeah, Bill, that's it. You know, hey, you know, I like fear in the market because fear for me tells me that, hey, stocks are getting cheaper and I'm cheap. I want them cheap. So if they, you know, she and Trump want to tit for tat over the next couple weeks, all I'm seeing is dollar signs when it comes to Christmas, and hopefully we get a good blast off. That's just my prediction right now. You know, again, that's a prediction. We'll see if it comes. Hopefully it comes to fruition because I like to make money. I'm sure you guys do too. But right now I'm more worried about protecting the money, right? TSM, big down day today. Stick to your stops in place. Stick to the plan you had, right? Just because you see the market selling off today doesn't mean you need to divert from your original plan, right? Like TSM, still above the 20, so I'm not going to be too concerned about it, right? Dust gets settled, the buyers are coming in. Have you addressed why it was not working this morning? Are you talking about the stream? Yeah, Ned, are you talking about the stream? I can address that because that was my fault. Essentially, I'm learning more the background side of things, just in case, you know, Joey's ever sick or wants to take a day off. I put the wrong stream key in, but I'm learning. I've only, Joey, this might be my fifth time doing that. But yeah, that was me. That was my fault. I apologize. But yeah, I'm learning how to do it. It's pretty cool. Learn how to do a stream by yourself. It was working on iPad, but not my phone. That I'm not sure about, Ned. That one I'm not sure about. Potentially because of the stream keys, maybe one was just had the right stream key and one did not. That might be my guess. But yeah, Joey showed me how to fix that, so that's good. What is the best way to find all the VectorVest YouTube videos? I mean, you can go to the page, Terry, but I'm going to tell you right now, save yourself some time because, you know me, I like efficiency. Whatever you're thinking about learning, whatever stock you're interested in, you know, whatever you want to do, just type in VectorVest, whatever it may be. Like, so if I want to learn about divergences, VectorVest divergence. If I want to learn about the bottom fishing, VectorVest bottom fishing. Options, VectorVest options, whatever it may be. Just put in the word VectorVest and then put, you know, the category or, you know, whatever direction you're thinking about going to. As soon as market open, it worked. Oh. Interesting. Maybe I have to call support on that. I'm not sure exactly what that would have been, Ned. But yeah, you know, whatever it may be, just go to VectorVest and you can find, you know, free resources on YouTube to learn about those type of things, right? Because when the market pulls back, I always tell people that is a good time to put more tools in the belt, right? So say we do end up with a DEW down, right? Cool. So that means I need to focus less time on looking for stocks right now because we just got the down signal. Maybe more time on learning a couple new things. You know, if you don't know options, you know, maybe take some time, try to learn a little bit more options. You know, save. You know, technicals are your weakness, whether it's moving averages, you know, divergences, 8 you get as crazy as you want with technicals. You know, maybe brush up on those. Maybe brush up on the actual VectorVest 7 system, right? It's always a good time to put more tools in the belt when the market's pulling back, right? Don't, you know, try to find every little fish you can find You're going to stress yourself out. The opportunities are going to come. Make trading easy on yourself. You don't always have to be buying, right? And today I'm not going to be much of a buyer. Well, the gold looks like it's turning around, right? So if you want to reposition your portfolio, right? Maybe, tech looked like it was getting clobbered. Actually, let's take a look at some tech here. Whatever's not working right now, maybe get more defensive on that. Focus more on what is working, right? Otherwise, build up the cash for the next bottom fishing opportunity, right? Because think about it. Unless you're putting more money in your account, if you don't take profits close to a top, you don't have cash to deploy at a bottom, right? Depends how you're trading, right? So just think about those things. But as far as these stocks, it's painting me the picture that gold, the mining, as soon as you get away from that, like these companies over here, all down bigly too. So that's what's working. All right, what time is it? Here? 12:26. Let's get into some more stock pick ideas. I'm putting money in my account. Let's see what these. So these are the hot industries. Let's take a look at it. Fiber optics. Woo! Down. Right? Hot industry, but not today. Biotech, down, clobbered, killed, 3%, 4%. Let's see here. Mining, up. Bigly. I don't see a loser in sight. One loser, down quarter. Avoid the losers. Right? But I don't say that to be funny, but it's just, yeah. I mean, the miners are going to make sense right now. I'm putting money in my account. Hey, I mean, yeah, a lot of people do put money in their account, whether it's each paycheck or, monthly basis, whatever it may be, right? But the concept is, unless you're taking profits from the top or close to the top, you can't get in lower, right? And I'm not saying this is the top. I'm not saying this is, a huge pullback, but I'm saying there's some signs we don't want to ignore. News aside. What I'm speaking of is the ascending channel that was just broken in the VectorVest composite. What I'm speaking of is the bearish divergence between MTI and the price action of the VectorVest composite. What I'm speaking of is the DEW down situation we might just be having at the end of today. That's why I'm bearish. Not necessarily the news. The news is just telling me, hey, like the whole tariff situation, that type of fear is now re-entering the market, right? So we shall see. Passing on Contras for now. Yeah, I'm not quite there on Contras because, like I said, all it takes for them, to say, oh, we are going to have a meeting, right? And then guess what? These indices are sore. And the miners probably soar with them, too. The miners just keep going up. It's crazy. Gold maybe, but who knows with the rare earths. But, that's what's working. You can see it right here. I mean, there's not much of a point to go into these individual charts. They're all up. I mean, a couple percent at least, except this one. That Peninsula Energy. It's a gamble. Yeah, the Contras. I'm not there on Contras. I'm wondering, actually, premium watch list. Actually, index ETFs, bullish. Index ETFs, bearish. Let's see here. More than the one-day move. Let's see. The moving averages are making sense here. The moving averages are, it's above the 20 too. You see, last time we got above the 20, that's when a real dip occurred. So we are seeing some real weakness in the market. That's on the Dow Jones. Let's take a look at the Qs here. Here we got ProShores. Q. 3 months. We're already seeing level resistance right at the 20-day. So no real confirmation on these Contras, right? We're close. That's what I'm saying. That DEW, right? See if we do get a DEW down signal, see if we get follow through come Monday, right? Before just going out and selling your stocks. Otherwise, stick to the plan you have in place. Stick to your stops. But right now, we're on that cusp, right? You see, last time, same before, if it breaks, pretty short-lived. that's actually a channel. Let's go to 6 months here. But when it does break, it can really pick up momentum to the downside. Let's see here. Let's see what the Russell's doing. Russell up 1.5%. This is the short on the Russell. Again, top wick right at the 20 here. So not quite seeing that confirmation. Bought Data Vault and Poet today on the dips. Phyllis, probably not too mad at it. Probably not too mad at it. Actually, let's do that. Since I've done these videos today, let's take a look at the stocks I've done videos on this week. Oh, that's beautiful, right? It's finding support right at the swing high here. Oh, man, that's actually not a bad dip. Remember, I was telling you, look for that retest on the breakout. It got pretty close to that retest. It looks like it's finding support right at that prior swing high. As long as you find, as long as you're okay with that dip, Phyllis. But that's an aggressive one. That's an aggressive one. ABB says LAES. Who's familiar with LAES? Who's familiar with them? I've been trying to give you guys some good stocks this week on the 6 p.m. videos. It looks like ABB on the right path. Tonight's video, LAES. That is tonight's video. Seals Q Corp. Sorry for joining late. I thought that the live stream title said meeting canceled, so I didn't join earlier. Sold some LAES today. Jazz, that's not bad because I was just saying getting defensive. That's tonight's video, 6 p.m. So, Jazz, if you sold some today, you probably were thinking just what I was thinking. But again, another low dollar stock. I don't care. Bring all the stocks back down, right? Because I want to get in cheap. So, if you're holding those stocks, yeah, I know you don't want to come back, but I do. But I like that retest on that Poet, on that swing high. Again, it's really going to be at the market's mercy right now if we get any follow through when it comes to that pivot. But yes, with today's sell-off, is exactly where I'd want to find support for the bulls on Poet. Exactly where I'd want to find for it. If you didn't watch the video, interesting stock though. Semiconductor photonics, pretty much light. And they want to move data with light. And the interesting thing with light is, does it heat up with the data, right? Right now we're transferring data on copper and those kind of things, traditional wires. Heats up, right? Companies like Dell, SMCI, they got to have all these cooling systems, Vertiv Holdings, right? Poet can remove a lot of that problem. So it's an interesting stock, The other one I want to talk about, Data Vault. This company, very forward thinking. You can see the earnings per share. It's negative, but it's definitely moving in the right direction here. I mean, with the same price as it was a year ago, instead of having negative $8 forecasted EPS, now you're just around, what, negative a quarter? I like that. Where did I... Oh, is this pivot right... Let me go to a year. This is the level of support off of this tall wick right here. I'm trying to click on that tall wick. Right there. That's what I was looking for support. And that's actually kind of where the support looks like it came in. But $2, yeah. Data Vault under $2, down 11%. Well, almost down under $2. Yeah, under $2. Oof, I'm tempted to buy some next week. That's good. And look at the value ticking up. I do want to see value keep ticking up. I do like this trade here. With that upper wick and that rejection, again, I'm looking for the deal on Data Vault, right? Looking for the deal on Data Vault. But I'm thinking less than $2. If you get less than $2, probably not worst case scenario. Let's see. What was the other? Oh, Tilray was the other one. Nice. Filled the gap. Exactly. I said that in the video. Be careful of that upper wick and that gap fill. I like that gap fill. The value has been climbing up on the stock. It's down 16% today. And with the market right now, like I said, the further you're getting away from rare earths and mining, the more trouble you're probably in with those stocks. And I mean, yeah, the marijuana healthcare stocks. I mean, the first video I did was around $1. Yesterday, the video this week I do like the news, but I don't like the market conditions for healthcare marijuana. Wait for the breather. On both videos I said for healthcare marijuana, don't chase the news. After the news, chase the breather. Right now, look, the breather is happening. I'm not saying buy it today, but I like this breather. I like the gap fill that I like to see with Tilray. That gap fill gives me optimism for a nice bullish trade in the future. And as well, Tilray, yes, I did mention this in last night's video, was an ascending channel, broke above it. That's where the big upper wick was, broke below it, right? So just, stay on the right side of the trade. Biotech has been hot. It's taking a hit today, though. ABB is taking a hit. Gold, Tabula, I don't think gold is losing its shine. I don't know. If these geopolitical tensions with China, I think gold is only, the allure of gold is good. But yeah, it might just need to take a breather, right? But the VectorVest 7 software is telling me, even though the miners have been on a tear, when you scroll down a list of mining stocks, or gold mining stocks in particular in VectorVest, majority of them are still undervalued. So I don't think quite the run is over, because the geopolitical tensions aren't over. And according to VectorVest, which we all know has got a pretty stringent value system, right? It gives you that real intrinsic value. And that's telling me that these gold stocks, they are still holding their value, right? They're still holding their value. Still a good trade in my opinion. But make sure the chart makes sense. That's what it all comes down to. Make sure the chart makes sense. All right, let's see if we can find some fish, and then I'll take your stock picks. See here. Let's do this energy for some fish. Because what I like about coal is coal has access to rare earths like Met-C. If I remember correctly, I want to say it was Met-C. If not, it might have been the AREC. Or Met-CB. Go figure it was Met-CB. But either way, a lot of those talked about coal ash, right? CRML. It's funny you talk about CRML, John. I just was looking at CRML. It was in an article with the rare earths. And actually, look, I got it written down right here. Most recent. You think I'm kidding, John? Most recent. You see all the stocks on the list. I don't know if you can see this. Where's the camera? It's that one right here. CRML. Well, just write that sucker down. Because I went to grab my pen to write it down again. I was like, no, that's right. I've been looking at it. I already wrote it down. Yeah, I like CRML. AREC, if I'm not mistaken, I think was it Kentucky or Arkansas? But the recycling coal ash, right? Someone in Texas, I think it was the University of Austin, found out that, hey, there's a lot of rare earths in this coal ash, right? I've been saying coal ash has been a problem for decades on the East Coast. If you live on the East Coast, you know what I'm talking about. Now we got a reason to clean it up. Not only do we have a reason to clean it up, but now instead of paying billions of dollars of cleaning it up, either probably going to break even or potentially could fix the supply chain problem with China, make a lot of money in the process, right? Think about it. You're cleaning up the environment, solving a national security geopolitical issue, and making money. That's a no-brainer. I'd be cleaning up some coal ash if I knew there's rare earths in there. We got a ton of it. A whole lot of it. I am on AREC and UUU. ELBM is holding today. Cobalt rare earth. Cobalt is a rare earth, I believe. Or a critical mineral. It's one of the two. Here, I can Google it and see. Or can someone Google it and let me know? Someone Google it. Is cobalt a rare earth or a critical mineral? I'm almost positive it's the category. I'm almost positive. I want to say yes. But let me know in the comment, whoever puts it in there. Yeah, would AMD be a good buy? I'm not going to say yes to that right now. The semiconductors, I'd be more select. I'm not going to buy it right now. Not with this news. You saw TSM down 5%. Think about it. All of the computer chips, well, not all, but 80%, whatever it may be, AMD and NVIDIA, they rely on Taiwan, right? Just, pretty much in China's back pockets, right here, it's a little island attached to China, right? So for news or any kind of conflict in the news, it's not going to be good for those stocks. Right? But no, yeah, I'm not a buyer of AMD. AMD, Nvidia, TSM, all those guys, you know, their biggest problem right now is going to be this China conflict, right? Think about what they've been doing. They've been trying to appease the Trump administration and the U.S. government, pretty much lifting Intel up, right? Pretty much lifting Intel. You know, I get AMD. I did a video on AMD. Just look at the chart. Make sure wherever you buy it, it at least makes sense as a good pivot level, right? Just don't be buying it all willy-nilly as the market's selling off. That's what I don't want you to do. They need to dip for Santa rally anyways. Jazz, we've been talking about that. I want it to dip. I don't care if the whole market rolls over, honestly. It's like I said, I was talking about buying these stocks last week or the week before, right? Hey, it wants to roll over, give me cheaper prices. I'm okay with that. I already told you my, I guess you could say, hypothesis or guess or whatever. That is, this geopolitical conflict not going to resolve itself over the weekend. Market's probably going to pull back. Look for the MTI to get those 0.6 levels. I'm thinking, who knows when exactly it'll happen. But I'm thinking just before the holidays, right? Give us that. I want that MTI low before the holidays, because the lower that MTI gets before the holidays, and we get another interest rate cut, right? That'd be nice. That'd give us a good Santa rally. That's what I'm looking for, right? So, yeah. So, again, I'm going to be bearish in the market, not because of this. I already talked about the ascending channel. The DW might go down. Other reasons, bearish divergence in MTI. That's why I'm thinking a little bit more bearish in the market right now, right? And unless you're holding stocks that are just naturally going up today off this news, hey, getting defensive on your losers today, taking some profits, not the end of the world. But again, you got to ask yourself, hey, these positions, are they swing trading positions? Are they long-term investment positions, right? And put a stop in accordingly. A great Santa rally may come from this. Yes, Warren, that's my guess. That's my guess. If I'm just, me, I like to think ahead because I trade options. When you trade options, you can't come in playing checkers while other people are playing chess, right? So I come in playing chess. You got to think a couple moves ahead. So a couple moves ahead means, hey, if the market's rolling over, cool. Let me find that MTI getting to that sweet spot, right? Let me see them bottom fishing conditions start to occur right before the holidays. Salivating right now, just thinking about it. We can have Santa all year round. We've had Santa a lot this year, and that's why I'm thinking Santa might need a little breather. But again, stick to the chart, not your heart, not the heart. Tariff, China again. Ooh, taco trade, ABB. I'll put it like this. The simple low-level bargaining chips between China and the United States, that's what's been being utilized over the last year or so. We're seeing those levels, ratchet up on both sides, right? With these port restrictions, with this licensing of rare earth. We're seeing China essentially say, hey, we're not just going to stand down. This is what it is. I'm not going to get too many politics here. But I don't know. I think it could be kind of like the tariff thing, where the market pulls off with all the fear, and then China and the United States realize, hey, we actually need each other for our economies, come back together, and that's going to be the Santa rally that I'm predicting. So we'll see if it comes to fruition. We'll see if that comes to fruition. Because if we don't sing Kumbaya with China, well, guess what? We're going to have a whole lot more problems, right? And I don't want those kind of problems. I'm sure no one else here wants those kind of problems, right? But let's make sure our portfolios are positioned to profit from all of this chaos in the world, right? Bill, to put it nicely, yes, pretty much, Bill. So, again, all right, it's 12:44. I want to talk about some of your stocks. You already heard my rant for the day, I guess you could call it. Let's see. Don't put them in yet. Let's see here. Watch list. My watch list. All right. Now put them in. First 10 stocks coming across. Actually, yeah, with 10 stocks coming across are the first 10 stocks coming in. Neo, someone's going to play the Chinese side. Not mad at it. not a bad idea to have some exposure to China, just in case, right? If you've noticed, all my rare earths, my Bitcoin, a lot of my videos have to do with China and the decoupling of the United States and China, right? And there's a lot of money to be made in that decoupling. That's, I'm not in charge. I don't get to decide that United States and China want to couple or they want to be best friends, right? All I can say is, hey, logically, there's places to make some money while this happens. And VectorVest 7 software just makes it much easier to pick the stocks. All right, that's enough stocks here. AAY, Ryan Air Holdings. Oh, you did that just for me? Trust me, it's got to be a good airline with that name. And that airline, I should fly it sometime. I wonder if Ryan's get a discount. You got me for one. Because that's 11. All right, well, you got me for one. Let's see here. 1 0. That's the 10th. Sounds like a party in the background. Oh, you can hear them? You can hear them. Yeah, UAMY is up big today, right? Because again, the faster this decoupling happens, the more pressure it puts on the miners. And what I've been thinking about it is, logically, not only does China own a monopoly on the mining side of things, no. Oh, man, I did skip 2 of them. Shoot. All right. I skipped SRPT. Sorry about that. And wait. BTM. UAMY. Sorry, I skipped over these 3, so you got me for a couple extra today. All right, we're gonna scroll through these. U.S. antimony, 1325. What do you think is gonna happen if there is a conflict between China and the United States with these type of companies? Become even more valuable, become even more critical, right? It's jumping away from its valuation. I'm not going to jump on the train right now, but if you're on the UAMY train, I don't know where you bought it, but maybe use something like Star Search. Help capture those profits. Look at the value. The value is still going up. It was at 404, now it's at 408. But people are paying a premium on this position now because of the story, right? The story is no longer just on the VectorVest 7 channel. We've been talking about this for a year now, but now it's worldwide, right? Everyone knows about the rare earths. Everyone's hopping in on these stocks. I was talking about this little guy when it broke a descending channel around 70 cents, and now it's at $13. Hopefully, some of you guys made some money along the way. Trust me, I'm mad I didn't buy it. But I'm not letting the next one get on me. So this is what I wanted to get to. I get distracted sometimes. So we were talking about miners, right? China's got a monopoly, whatever. But not only mining, but the smelting, the chemical processing, the manufacturing of this stuff, right? China also has a monopoly in that. So not only would you have to increase the mining industry, we have to increase the other side, right? The processing of these minerals. UAMY just got a second smelter to process some of these compliments of the Department of Defense, right? UAMY bought at 6. Nice. I wouldn't, me personally, like I said, my goal was on that last pivot. This stupid board member CEO bought some, and that's why it started rocketing back up. So I didn't get in around $6 when I was hoping, or $6.15, but I'm not going to chase it. But it's a good stock. I would hold on to it. If you got 100 shares and you get worried about some kind of pullback, sell a call while the premium is out of this world. Think about it. If you guys got into this $3, $6 when it really started gaining traction on the channel here, you're up bigly. And some of these premiums with this volatility, you could probably sell and cover most of your initial position at this point, right? Learn to play with house money. And if I could sell a call right now on UAMY at close to my initial purchase price off all this volatility, why not do it, right? So what? It comes back. You keep the premium. You just pretty much, now you got the shares, next to nothing. And then you wait for the next one, right? Because like I said, this is still infant. It took decades to build, our current economic system with China is going to take a while to decouple it, right? It's not going to happen. Yeah, the government's putting in resources to amplify it and speed up the process, but it's still going to be a while. If you sell the call, can you lose the shares? If they are called away from you, and that's an if, they're not always called away, at the strike price, right? So right now, if it's at 13 and it's up bigly, look at the 15, right? If you're happy with UAMY getting called away at 15, otherwise, look at what, I'm curious, someone look what the 15 strike and say like a end of November expiration. Look what the call premium is on that. Say the 15 strike. You have 2 lives now. The other has 16 viewers. Oh, yeah. So, again, learning how to do the stream. What call them out? The strike. The strike. Look at the 15 strike on UAMY and give me an expiration probably closer to, mid-November. Sometime in November. Give me a strike. And let me know what the premium is on it. I'm just curious what it is, right? Let me know what that is. We're going to move on. We'll get back to that in just a moment. Metsi, boom. I see the upper wick too, though. I see the upper wick. Yeah, Walter, I messed up with the stream keys. Still learning how to do that. Trying to learn more of the back scene. $2. $2, Jake says, right? What was the November expiration date, though, right? So say you bought it between $3 and $6. That's when probably most of the people, if you really got, were believer in me in those videos around $1 or $2, you pretty much paid for the position already, with this one. But say you bought it at $4, right? You got the opportunity to sell a call on it at 15 at $2. So just easy math. Either the stock goes up to 15, gets called away, and you make a killing. Worst case, $2.35. So sorry, more. You get a little bit more premium, right? So now, say just easy math, say $4. If you say you bought it for, it's over 2, right? So if you sell the call in worst case scenario, the stock comes back down or whatever, half the premium body. Say you bought it at 6, a third of your initial position could be covered, and you got insurance up to $15 on the stock. I did this an example with QSI. This is pretty much putting insurance on a bag. This is called bagger insurance, right? So if you don't want to sell it right now off this high momentum, and I don't blame you, you could sell the call on it. And I'm just using 15 as an example, right? The further you go out, the 16s, right, you're going to get less premium, right? But yeah, you do get more from, if it does go up to 16. So at $2, that's telling me that the strike is 15. If it's $2.35, that means the break even right now is $17.35. So that means if anyone wants to call the stock away from you, it's not going to make sense unless the stock is above $17.35. And that's according to Jake James premium he put in there. So just make sure that's the right premium. That's a great trade if you don't want to get rid of UAMY. If that premium is correct. And thank you for that, Jake. That was in November. He didn't put the expiration. Again, so, and that's saying that UAMY would have to go up to $17 by next month, right? So let's say it goes 17 something and gets called away. Who cares? You just made a killing, right? You put your insurance on your back. And if it doesn't go past $17.35 by next month, you're getting around just over $2 in premium, which is definitely going to lower your dollar cost average. If you got into it, before $6, well, even before, even after $6, if you bought at 8 or 10, I mean, just, it's a good way to put insurance on your bag. Make that decision yourself. But it's just it's a good thing to do if you don't want to to sell it right away, and you're okay with it getting called away at a higher price. And again, the stock would have to go up to $17.35 for it to be attractive for someone to call it away for you from $15, right? And that's still a couple bucks to the upside. So that's a good one. Alfredo, just look at the expiration in your broker. If you're thinking about this and you're serious about doing something like that, look at the expiration, look at the premiums. Make sure you're comfortable with the strike price. Make sure you're comfortable with the premium, right? All right, here's SMCI. Again, the further you get away from rare earths, you're getting clobbered. Up 7%. I mean, this one right here, it looks like it filled the gap and a clear rejection at the gap fill. Clear rejection. Be defensive on it. Still undervalued. Still good. Jake says 70 cents for the October 17th. But yeah, again, just make sure the option trade makes sense to you. And if you've never traded an option before, do some research on it before you think about doing it. By just giving you a little extra tool to put in your tool belt, right? And I'll be honest with you, UAMY right now, all it's going to take is another negative news story with China and the U.S. It's probably going to rocket again. But we'll see. But as of right now, in my opinion, the stock's overstretched. It's overstretched. It needs a breather. But the only thing that could help lift it more, again, is just more geopolitical tension. All right, but this stock here, nothing good about it. Earnings per share, that forecasted data, I mean, just letting you know the stock not good. I mean, down 2% today. It wasn't good before today, and today in the market's definitely not helping it. Let's see here. It's undervalued. I do like that. Actually, one thing I will say, I see the turnaround story. Whoever gave me this, in the turnaround story, look, values now rising, higher highs, higher lows. Prices rising, but the earnings per share still not looking too good. Oh, wait, that's Super Micron. Here it is right here. The value is starting to rise here. 3 months. It's starting to tick up. This might be a good bottom fishing one. Not today, though, with the market. But I do like that turnaround story in the value. Here's Solaris Energy. Whoo, big upper wick. Big upper wick. It's a bottom fish. Yep, that's a bottom fish one. I like it. I don't think the deal is right now because you see it rolling over with the market. I mean, let's do this. Put it in the comments section. Who thinks the market is going to go down on Monday? Monday's, we'll say close. The close on Monday, do you think it's going to be lower than we're at now or higher? Just put lower in the chat or higher. This is Monday's close. And why I'm asking this, if there's going to be follow through from today's price action. So do you think Monday's close is going to be down, or do you think Monday's close will be up? I'm going to say lower. I don't. Obviously, it depends on the news. But with what I saw on the VectorVest composite, with what I saw that diverges, I'm thinking lower. Thinking lower on Monday. So if everyone's thinking lower on Monday, and if you personally think lower, and the VectorVest 7 system is like, hey, again, that's what I'm saying, I'm more in the realm of protecting profits than just buying stocks, right? And if I did a video on a stock, and I'm doing a video on a single stock tonight, I'm telling you, don't just go out and buy it. Make sure the chart makes sense. But the stock tonight is awesome. And they got a great new partnership. The last partnership was awesome. I mean, awesome. It's a quantum company, too. Vertiv Holdings, giving some of that up, right? But the overall trend is up, right? So this is a stock here. It's up 2%. So Vertiv Holdings, if I got it in my portfolio, I'm not worried about it, right? Not worried about Vertiv Holdings. Nibius Group, not even worried about NBIS. Yeah, it's down 1% today, but still the overall trend is up. Ryanair, I see rejection right at that resistance level. But overall, I mean, it's a nice lower left, upper right, values rising, earnings per share is rising. This is a nice steady Eddie stock. No, it's not going to be as exciting as a Core Weave or something like that. But this is a good stock here. And you're seeing the transition. You got from buy to hold to sell. Now we see a strong hold. Maybe wait for a buy. Maybe wait for some confirmation taking out this prior swing high. But right now, I'm not going to be a buyer of this position. I'm not going to be a buyer of any stock today. Here's TerraWolf. Look at that big upper wick, right? Ooh, that's a big one. We're still up 1%, but I don't like that candlestick. And look at the earnings per share moving the wrong direction, right? Very speculative stock. Overvalued. Pfizer, ooh, nothing good about this. Hopefully you're not bottom fishing this one. I don't even see nice pivots. The only thing I see good about here is the rising earnings per share, but the value is declining or the price is declining. I'm going to tell you right now, I wouldn't even look at the price of this. For Pfizer, I want to see value start turning around. Because I already know it's undervalued. You know, you're getting a great value there, but the value keeps dropping, right? So I want to see the damage is done in value before I jump into it. Jumped into SQQQ this morning, Jake says. I mean, yeah, jumping in up based off of that news, James, probably not bad. Amazon and Meta, good. You know, I'm not surprised by that. You know, if the Mag 7 stocks are good, I'm not going to be surprised by that at all, right? Because that's typically fleeing to safety. We've seen that before. It didn't work out too well with the tariff situation, right? It's mostly gold. But other than that, it typically works out well. Here's Bitcoin miner, BTM. I like it. It's on my radar. I see that break there. I haven't pulled the trigger on it yet, but I like that valuation. I like the earnings per share here. I like the stock. Let's go to a year. This is where I'm looking at right here. That's probably just shy of $3. If that sucker goes less than $3, that's a nice pivot I'm looking for. The open's around 3. Yeah, if that could go a little bit lower than $3, that would be a dip. I might be interested just because of the undervalued nature of it. Again, any low dollar stock that's Bitcoin related, undervalued. I mean, have you seen these miners? They're all overvalued, right? Here's Peraso. Ooh, nice upper wick there as well. Overvalued. I'd be more in the realm of protecting profits on that one. And there's 2 huge wicks there. It's up 3% today, so don't be in a rush in it. But stock is overvalued right now. Interesting. This is short innovation. Oh, okay. This is shorting the ARK funds. Interesting. Yes, in times of turmoil, in times of fear, you can see this doing pretty well. Up 5%. I can see exactly why this would make sense, this play here. It's right at the 20-day moving average. So see if it can break that for the confirmation. If you're already in it, hey. Neo, down 10%. Neo's getting whacked today, 678. Overvalued. We only value the company at 54 cents. Layoffs have begun, they said. What do you mean? Layoffs at Amazon and Meta have begun? Let me take a look at some of these mega caps. Let's take a look at Meta real quick. Down 3% today. Okay. Down 1%. Right on that 20. Microsoft. Interesting. Okay. But again, the further you get away from rare earths, the further you get away from mining, the more you're at risk, it seems, in the market right now. So just make sure you act accordingly. And honestly, if you have access to the VectorVest 7 software, take a look at the DEW. See if it does close to a down today. Because again, the DPO dipping into negative territory. Price action below the 30-day weighted moving average. So that could be telling us that the trend and the tides are changing right now in the market. On that note, I hope everyone has a wonderful weekend. And we will reconvene this come Monday. Everyone take care. I'll see you guys next week. Bye.